All right, gang, so this is going to be part 2 of the best effects of 2023. I hope you watched part 1, and I hope that wasn't too long for you. That's why I split it into 2 parts. I hope you enjoy part 2, and if you have any questions, please just feel free to ask, and I'm here to help and try to save you some dough. Okay, cool. Okay, this pedal that you're seeing right now, the Free the Tone Overdrive Land. This is the reason I didn't keep the Barber, because this one is, so this is the custom shop version. There's a regular version and there's a custom shop version. The custom shop version is a little more finely tuned. You know, the components are a little higher, whatever. But Henry and I bought this and we called each other the next day and we're like, yeah, this is it. So this is the best low to mid gain dumble pedal I've ever heard. Yes, that's correct. The best low to mid gain. The high gain is still my favorite, is Anasounds Dystopia, which by the way has 2 channels. So you can have one channel be a Marshall and the other channel be a dumble. Tanabe-san and the guy at Free the Tone, which is also in Japan, they're friends. And the guy at Free the Tone owns a dumble, and he based this on his dumble. And again, every dumble pedal is different, but this one really, to me, like the regular, what do they call it? The normal channel is just unbelievably great steel string singer. And the drive channel can get you those David Lindley, Lowell George. If you want heavier than that, or even the heavier side of what Lindley did, you'll have to go to the Dumkudo, in my opinion. But they nailed this. I really think Free the Tone nailed this. The custom shop version, the Overdrive Land, OD1CS. It's the only one that's all silver. The other one's painted. Unbelievable. I've tried every setting. We did a demo of it. Check it out. It's out there on my channel. Really, really good. Really, really good. And that's the only reason I didn't keep the Barber bus. Okay, this one is definitely in the top 10. It might even be in the top 5 because the Anasounds Dystopia Dystopia delay is crazy, but it's good crazy, well, she's crazy, but good crazy. This pedal does so many things and all of them well. It even has a sample and hold feature and a sequencer, which I haven't even had the chance to open it up and change things around to do. But the saturation channel, the preamp channel, which you can dime and do, unbelievable. And you can have it as it's always on. So it frees up another pedal for you. If you need if you have an always on pedal, trust me, the preamp on this can be always on as your like crunchy kind of goodness, frothy kind of, like your chime sound. It's a very technical term. This can do that. And then also be like a tape delay, a pitch delay, a multiple pitch delay, a sequencer. It's so insane and so beautiful and so inspiring that the Anasounds Dystopia is definitely in my top 5 of 2023. Now this next pedal, this is the Diffractor Soundings Arboretum Tremolo. This is on my list because it is awesome. I did not keep it. Now, can you take a guess why I didn't keep this pedal? Look at it. It's freaking huge. All right, it's like I'm trying to make my board smaller. Like I'm moving to London. My band is over there. If you've ever traveled on the subway or over there on the tube and up and down stairs and crawling around the streets trying to find these little clubs and where we have to play with amps that are this big, it was just too big. But that doesn't mean that it wasn't amazing. Like you could get lost for days in the Diffractor sounding Arboretum Tremolo. I just could not figure out a way. And I tried. I was taking things off and sacrificing everything. And I'm like, wait a minute, why am I sacrificing my regular sound just to fit this on the board? But if you're a synth player and if tremolo is a humongous part of your sound, you might want to consider it, because I don't think there's better out there. It's just large. And I mean larger than Big Ed. Large. Here's one that I don't get why people haven't gotten all over. All this talk about, clones and tube screamers and this and that. And this black bobbin that was a collaboration between old Blood Noise endeavors and black bobbin in Chicago. Okay. There's nothing wrong with this thing. Let me retract that. There's everything right with this pedal. So this pedal allows you to run other pedals in the loop. And that loop goes in the middle. And then you have a bump, which is a boost, but it's a colored boost. It sort of resembles the bump you get from a clon. And then you have another boost, and that boost has gain and tone. But they're different flavors of boost, and you can run other things into it. For instance, I put a Kingsley page in the middle of this, and you don't need anything else. If you had the page on all the time, and it's on all the time, if it's in the loop of the black bobbin, it's on, it's in the loop, you're still passing signal through. The black bobbin switches itself don't have to be on, right? And it sounds great. It's the page, it's the Kingsley page. Then you bump it. Oh, it's like, oh, that sounds really nice. And then if you really need to goose it a little more, you have the boost, which is a different type of boost than the bump. It's a different flavor. It's a different character. I don't understand. To me, this thing is a work of genius. I know it seems simple, but it's not. It's genius, and more people should have got on it. I don't understand. The black bobbin boost by Old Blood Noise and black bobbin to me seems like a duh. You want to make your rig better? Take your favorite overdrive pedal and put it in the loop, and then have this, and then you're done. You're done. All right, this one, I really love this one. I got this, the Bondi Effects Squish as VCA compressor. I wasn't in the market for another compressor, but oh my God, I'm glad I bought this as soon as they went up, because they sold out right away. This is one of the most transparent and one of the most beautifully tuned, excellent compressors that absolutely does not take anything away from your sound, and in fact makes your sound better. The Bondi Effects Squish as. Henry went and bought one, a couple of my other friends. No one regrets buying the Squish as, because it is just a tone monster as a compressor, which you can't say about every compressor. All right, now you're taking a look at one of my other favorites of the year, the Chase Bliss Reverse Mode C. Now, frankly, I haven't taken advantage of it as much as I could. I've played around with it a lot, but I have it on my acoustic board for a couple of songs. This is so bad. I'm so underusing it. I did experiment with it a lot when I bought it, but it's on my acoustic board for 2 songs that I need it for 2 different sounds. It can do a lot more than that. It's really beautiful. I'm glad they did this one, because it incorporates a few different things that I had been reaching for other pedals for, but they put it in a single footprint, and they even took it further. So, I should use it more than I am, but I did delve deep when I got it. The Reverse Mode C by Chase Bliss is definitely one of my favorites of 2023 by far. This one was the only one I didn't pay for. It was sent to me by my good friend David Rainger at Rainger Effects. And I was there when they were developing it. I visited them that day. They're office isn't that far from where I live in London. And he said, hey, you remember that thing we were doing? And I'm like, oh, yeah, how's that going? He's like, well, I'm going to send you one. And I was like, oh, that's what it is. Okay. And I'm like, yeah, okay. But then when I got it, I'm like, oh my God, thank you, David. This thing is really great. The Igor switch, the little expression pad you press on, man, that thing takes it to a next level. It seems simple, like, oh, it's a flanger. Yeah, but it's a really well thought out flanger with a lot of different bits to it and character. But then the Igor, depending on where it's set and the switches, this became, and not because it was given to me, so I'm just, full disclosure, it was given to me. It is one of my favorite pedals of 2023 because I keep putting it on all my boards. I keep leaving enough space to have this thing on there because it does so many different flavors and like sounds that I don't have to fuss with, but yet they're there and they're so unique to it that it's special. So the Flanger X by Rainger FX. Thanks, David. Okay. This one is definitely in the top 10. This one might be in the top 5. Did I do 5 yet? I know I had my top 3 and maybe a 4th, but okay. The Tark 144 preamp that's based on a Tascam 144 unit, like the old cassette 4-track units. And you might say, oh yeah, I've heard about that before. People have been trying to do that. Not like this. This is another pedal like the Lauten Audio Mustang GT, where it's a tone conditioner. You can just leave it on and you will be like, oh, wow, my guitar sounds really good at modest settings. Or you can use it as an overdrive, or you can fuzz it out, or you can put the limiter on and make it insane. Okay, this is totally worth the money and was a huge surprise. I mean, this is one of the ones that Henry told me to get. And I was like, come on, man. And he's like, no, trust me. Oh my God, it was one of the best buys, definitely in the top 5. Absolutely no question. Best of 2023, the Tark 144. Check it out. You're going to be surprised. It's not expensive either. My buddy Kevin Wilson, this poor guy, I've been bugging him for years. I must have bought a half a dozen wahs from Kevin over the years. Kevin Wilson is the wah god. He's the wah king in all of our opinions. That's our opinions, but we've tried all the wahs. Like I said, I've bought 6 from him. He knows all the ins and outs. Whatever special thing you need, you tell Kevin and he'll do it, and it'll be spot on and impeccable. But I've also bought dozens of other wahs chasing this sound I had in my head. And with lap steel, it's different because of the voicings and whatever. So I finally said to Kevin, I'm like, Kevin, look, I have this wah, I really like it, but the draw, it's really narrow, but I like the voicing. And he's like, oh yeah, well, that's because the potentiometers they've gone to are the newer ones. The old ones need to be cleaned more often. Well, how do you clean them? Well, you get the special spray and that's all you got to do, but you got to make sure to clean them. And I'm like, okay, well, that's one thing. How do I get this? And I explained in detail everything I wanted. And he's like, great, I'll make you a custom. I've got this pedal with a 12 position wah, which has 12 different positions that you can voice it to. And then on the back, it's got the bass growl knob that will allow you to dial in precisely how much growl in the bass you want. And then I'll put in the potentiometer, the old smooth potentiometer into this and just make sure you get this sprayed. And I'm like, cool. Exceeded expectations when it got here. Kevin Wilson is the wah king. Just tell him what you want and stop chasing around. Now I don't have to worry about any more wahs, because the best wah I'd ever had was this old color sound. And I mean, it was an old color sound, but it was unreliable. And even then I wanted to improve it This is the best wah I've ever played. Kevin is a genius. Kevin Wilson, Wilson Effects. Talk to him. He'll make you the wah of your dreams. Okay, so this one we all know. Everybody's talked about, oh, right, because I put my presets up for free. The Meris LVX. I don't have to do too much talking about this because I originally bought it in 2022. I sold it because I just didn't grok it at the time. And then I rebought it in 2023. And that's when I did the video and put up the presets. Now I use it on my chain as a multi-effect, meaning it's got the preamp sound, it's got compression. You got my presets. You can get them from the video. So you can see what I put up. I made, a microcosm kind of preset. I made a Therme preset, a reverse granular. It's amazing. Enough said. And that brings us to the Mercury X, the Meris Mercury X reverb. Again, I put my presets up for free on the video on this one. Yes, very, very impressive. I love it. I don't use it all the time because the Capitalist Death Cult, Time Machine, and a few other reverbs, just for the chain that I'm going with, take up less room, but also aren't as obtrusive and aren't as invasive. Because, could you turn the mix down? Sure, but it's the type of reverb. Do you know what I mean? It's like sometimes you don't want that much reverb. You don't want that much texture. You don't want that much, right? That's a technical term. You know what I mean. Anyway, but I love it. And it was one of the best 2023 by far. It's a work of genius. Those people really know what they're doing at Meris. Okay, this one, come on. What's this? Bleak District Electric. All right, I've bought a couple effects from this guy. He's in England. But the Tapescape, as soon as I heard the Tapescape, like I bought it, like sight unseen, because the demos, what can you really tell from demos sometimes? But I bought it from what I could tell, what I sort of could discern. And when I got it and started playing with it, I'm like, this is what I want every delay to be like. Of course, you don't just want one flavor of delay, but if you could have one flavor of delay and it could be textured and character and floaty and just envelop you but not take over, right? Be nostalgic and have vibe for days, it would be the Tapescape by Bleak District Electric. Abso-freaking-lutely one of the best of 2023. Probably not in the top 5, but maybe number 6. That's how good that thing is. The Soma Cosmos, I mean, yeah, it probably came out in 2022. And I tried it in 2022, just like I did with the LVX. Didn't grok it. Or maybe it was pissing me off because it was a little too frippertronics and I've got other things to do for that. But with this new one, I put in the rhythmic firmware as my videos lately have been showing. Yeah, this is a keeper. I get it. This is good now. I'm good. I'd rather be Stephen Reich than Fripp at this point. The Eventide H90. I mean, it's perfect. It's perfect. I was at the point where I would have to buy 2 H9s to do the job, and yet this is even better than 2 H9s. I mean, what can I say? I wrote a review for it for American Songwriter magazine. It was all true. Like, I love it. And I put some presets up for free to download online at the video I did of it. I don't know. I just, it's a perfect effect. I would say this is number 7 out of, the best of. Definitely. Like, yeah, it's expensive, but it does a lot. It really does a lot, and they all sound great. That's the main thing. So it might be out of your price range, and that's okay. If it's out of your price range, look at getting 2 Zoom MS50Gs, because that is the most unsung effect of all time, or an MS50G and an MS70 CDR, And, you know, is it the same as this? No, but it's like $600 cheaper. Just saying. All right, the Chase Bliss Lossy. Believe it or not, all of my friends hated this idea. We all usually get the Chase Bliss stuff. We buy it the first day. We use it. We love it. All of my friends were like, nope. And I was leaning that way. But you know what? It's flipping awesome. I've used it on my acoustic board. I've used it on my lap steel board. Right now, I have it on my vocal board. And I find endless uses for it. Is it perfect? No, but it's not supposed to be. That's the point. It's supposed to inspire new sounds, and they are far, far from perfect sounds. So it's not about clarity. It's about new sounds and new inspirations, and it works in stereo too, so come on. I really dig it. This is a keeper, the Chase Bliss Lossy. Here's another fave of the year. It's kind of a sleeper. The old Blood Noise BL52. It's a phase repeater. I like phase repeaters because at its core, it sort of is like a reverb, but it's like a reverb with some granulation and some texture and feedback. And they just put that part, the part I love best, in a pedal. And it's simple as hell. Basically, I don't even touch the slider that much. I move it like a hair off the right. I have the feedback at around 2 o'clock. And the volume, the volume is just past noon, and my mix is just past noon. And I use it as a textured sort of addition to the reverb. I love it. I think that's a sleeper, the old Blood Noise BL52 phase repeater. And last but not least, before I just have one more picture of my current pedal board, in which some of these pedals live on, but I have like 5 or 6 or 7 pedal boards in the studio that I use. And I like to think of them as stations so I can bop from one to the other so I'm never on one. But there is one I'm using currently, and I'll get to that in a second. So this pedal from Wrought Iron Leather and Effects is the Project 941 Modulator. Now, essentially, it's a vibe pedal, but it's a lot more than that because there's a distortion channel in it that can be really gainy or really subtle. And there's a lot of secondary functions with the switches. And then the dive channel allows you to go from very moderate, sort of slow, vibey modulation to like very hard and choppy with just one flick of the switch. Unbelievable craftsmanship, unreal sound. It's just bloody big. This is the second one that I'm featuring on this list that I am not keeping because I can't find a way to get it on my board. I wish I could. I've tried everything, and I was even like, it's so good, I wanted to take it with me on my touring board. So wherever I go, I would just and I couldn't figure it out, because I didn't want to run it before the other effects I had already, and I couldn't fit it after the beginning where I wanted it. Yeah, so I just can't do it. So it better go to a better home, someone who's actually going to be able to use it. But the Project 941 Modulator, oh my God. This thing is a work of art. Everything about this is perfect. He really knows what he's doing. He doesn't mess around at all. And it's very, very impressive. And then the last picture now, this is my current board. This is incorporating some of the things we've been talking about, and some of you who follow the channel all the time know this. This is the smallest, this is a pretty compact board. This is 12 by 11 or something, and then the volume pedal off the board. And I have two to the right, you can't see them both, but I have 2 expression pedals. One expression pedal is for the Syntax era, the other one's for the Ghost, because I have the Ghost set up to be a wah at certain presets. And so this little package the Syntax era, because Alexander pedals, I love Alexander pedals. Everything by Alexander pedals I will buy. And Disaster Area Designs have saved my butt many, many times. So Syntax era V1, Chroma console, Ghost pedal, and the LVX. And you know what? It covers a lot of ground. So I hope that was useful to you. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it wasn't too long. Sorry, but there were a lot of pedals to go through. And when I went into my cloud to see how many pedals I bought, because I take pictures of everything, I was like, oh my God, I'm insane. But if I can keep you like informed and make better decisions when you're spending your hard-earned money and maybe save you some money or give you options, that's what I'm here for. So thanks for listening, and stick around and let me know what you want me to cover. Okay, gang, that's the end of part 2. I hope you watched both parts of my best effects of 2023. Let me know if you want me to put it all in one whole segment later on, because that's how I shot it, and be happy to do that as well. I hope you got something out of it. If you have any questions, please let them rip. Thanks a lot.